I remember hearing about Red Dead Redemption 2 when it was first released. I saw advertisements for the game as well as some of my friends talking about it. I remember my friend Ted mentioning that he got the game with his Xbox bundle thing, but that's all he really mentioned about it. 3 years later, my friend David starts talking about it quite often. He even screen shared him playing the game and showed me how to mildly tap people with your trusty shotgun. I also out of the blue started getting recommendations for the game I recommended and thought the game actually looked pretty cool. So I decided I would actually get the game. And boy did I not expect what would follow. The game starts with some very eerie music and some old style text, which then transitions to Dutch and the gang trying to find some temporary shelter. We then get introduced to a new character called Arthur, who you'll be playing as for the rest of the 6 chapters. Turns out, Arthur found a place for the gang to go. After that scene, we get put into our first chapter. Chapter 1. Coulter. They enter the cabin and it's revealed someone, a part of their group, is missing. Arthur and Dutch head out to find Micah and tell him that we found a place to settle down for a bit. After a bit of horse riding up the mountain, Dutch somehow manages to see Micah through the snow, which made me say, I can see anyone in this. And apparently the little shack we found up in the mountains wasn't good enough, because we start heading to this other place, which gives me time to look at the incredible detail this game has. Wow, the attention to detail in this dude. Dutch approaches the house and it turns out he's actually a bit of a celebrity.
Goddamn Dutch Vanderlyn, you morons!
This then causes a gunfight, so you have to fight off all the people inside. Anyways, after that commotion, we loot the house. My alarm goes off. I get jumped by some random guy, and the lady gets assaulted by Micah. Great going, Micah. The next day, we go to find a guy named John. And if you're like me, and you haven't played Red Dead Redemption 1, then you have no idea who John is. On the way, I end up falling into this canyon or ravine. Oh! I literally was facing the way I wanted to go, but sure. This leads to my first complaint about the game. Why does it send you so far back when you fail? This game makes failing so much worse. I guess it makes the player try harder so they don't fail again, but it's so unnecessary. Just talking about it makes me f***ing angry. Although, this is coming from a guy with ADHD, so what do you expect? Anyways, we find John, who is covered in blood, and take him home whilst trying to fight off wolves. Anyways, we get home and the next day we go hunting for some deer. Before that though, we come across a guy named Megadeth124. Oh wait, that's just a guy on my friend list. We come across some deer and kill them. We take them home and skim them, ready to cook. Almost instantly after returning, Dutch tells us we need to visit the O'Driscolls to teach them how a bullet can kill you. Well, it's not meant to do that. After that, me being confused can't figure out what I need to do in order to progress in the game, and after only 5 minutes, okay fine, 10 minutes, alright fine, 20 minutes of being confused, I finally figured it out. Ah, thank God. We then spot this guy and have to chase him down and kidnap him. We bring him back and then we transition to a few days later where we rob a train. We were in the dark and snowy conditions for that long that when we got our first glimpse of proper sunshine, I said out loud,
Oh, look at you boys. See?
Sunshine!
This is what I call
Yes, dude. That was genuine excitement too. Anyways, we find the railroad track and I approach Bill to help him set up the detonator. We ended up finishing the setup just in time because the train just now arrives.
Good luck. Follow you.
The detonator fails, so we have to get onto the train and rob it whilst it's moving. So, I prepare my jump, and... oh, fuck's sake.
Here we go.
I make it. However, the other two fall off. Dumb. I held one of them back up and we go into the train. I don't know why, but I really like the lasso, so at any opportunity I got, I used it on people. We get into more fights, blah blah blah, still some shit, and could you cut it out with the lasso? Anyways, we cut back to our temporary home, and it looks like we're ready to go and find a place to call home. That's only a joke you'll get if you play the whole game. On the way there, we get some dramatic music with some pretty beautiful visuals, if I do say so myself, and the fucking wheel fell off. Anyways, the guy who I'm driving with, who I think is Strauss, I could be wrong. Listen, there's just so many characters that you just can't keep track of all the names. As I was saying, he explains that we found a place called Horseshoe Overlook that we can call home. After a lot of talking, we finally reach the place and it looks like the others have somehow already set up camp. We then get told that there is a town called Valentine, not too far away from camp, which is when we get our first look into Chapter 2, Horseshoe Overlook. We head over to Uncle and then head into Valentine, but not before we get to hear this. Make it stop! Thankfully, we get interrupted by a guy whose horses just broke loose, so we then go and help him recover them. Then we get back into the cart and, don't worry, he's okay. We arrive in Valentine and explore the town. We buy some stuff, and without even being in the town for 10 minutes, one of us have already broken an entry into someone's home.
I snuck into this fancy house.
A few seconds later, another one of the girls gets assaulted by a guy, so we threaten to kill him.
Get your hands off of her.
Who are you?
A friend of mine.
Get the hell off of her, you son of a bitch.
Hey!
We then head into a hotel where we have to save another one of the girls. So we enter this hotel room and then I take out the guy. However, I accidentally shoot the wall and it alerts the owner of the hotel and it fails the mission. So I have to restart. We then save her and take her back to the others. We then come across someone who recognizes us from the past. So we then have to kidnap him because he has valuable information about us and we can't let him going around telling people that they've seen us. He then gets kicked off his horse, which leaves him clinging on for dear life, so we save shit, misclick. Anyways, we head back to the guy that we took the horse from and he's happy to see it again.
Here's your horse back, friend.
Oh, you really were just borrowing it.
We then head to this pub and roast these two girls.
How much you cost, anyway?
Well, ain't that a nice way to talk to a lady?
Oh, I didn't know I was talking to a lady.
A fight begins and for some reason the whole pub breaks out into a fight. I then knock this guy out and then help the others. Then we get kicked out of the pub and then get into a fight with the pub owner. We then meet a guy who's from New York and apparently there's someone in Blackwater that needs to be saved. Before I can do that though, this random guy approaches me and wants to be friends with me.
Hey, buddy, can't we be friends?
So I accept his request. We walk into this other pub and see a guy who's writing an autobiography on a guy who broke a world record.
The Jim Boy Calloway.
Who?
The gunslinger.
He gives us these images that, since I received them, haven't even thought of them nor even looked at them. This is when we get our first play at free roaming and doing whatever we want. I steal a horse and a witness tells the law. I run into one of them and I fall out of the wagon. I then tie one of them up and then run into more law, forcing me to drop the guy that I've kidnapped and run. I managed to escape the law and then that's it. That's the first 3 hours of Red Dead. So now it's time for the ending.